Yeah, every night on the sky feels larger. Not because the city disappears, because your thoughts finally slow. Working around music won't enough. You learn it's some nights feel like signals. Quiet frequencies moving through the air. That evening skyline glows softly. Windows lit like distant constellations. Street lights line an empty road. A taxi rolls slowly through the intersection. Its headlights stretching across the pavement. The world felt calm but alive, like a city was breathing slowly inside the studio. The lights were dim, someone leaning against the wall. Someone scrolling through old recordings, someone watching the skyline. Cause sometimes the best ideas appear when the room stops trying to force them. And the speakers came alive, a shimmering pad wide, floating slowly like northern lights across dark sky. Roads chord as a gently warm, comfortable. Then a guitar harmonic, soft, delicate, repeating quietly. Then the drums a rocket landing, deep pace in the snare, warm balance, touching the rhythm lightly. Hi-hats taking loose and rolling and resting again like breath between sentences. Then the bass low, smooth, gliding beneath the chords like clouds drifting across moonlight. The room reacted, heads nodding slow, powerful, because the groove felt calm. And the voice arrived, melodic, relaxed, words floating through the rhythm, half spoken, half sung. The verse unfolded, stories about perspective, about watching crowds move toward noise while quiet ideas grow slowly, about realizing confidence often begins in silence. A line about saving alone on a rooftop, watching lights stretch across the city. Someone listening would understand, because clarity sometimes appears late at night. The beat shifted and the log sync tones rising gently, filtered vocal fragments drifting softly like signals crossing the sky. The pre-hook lifting, energy building like dawn waiting beyond the horizon. The hook arrived, a voice singing soft, emotional, floating above the rhythm, layered harmony spreading wide, relay echoes stretching the sky like light, traveling through clouds. The melody gentle, memorable, the kind people replay when the night feels long. The beat returned, warmer now. The verse followed, more reflective, cadence slower, words landing with quiet certainty. Lines about independence, about trusting your own rhythm instead of chasing every trend. Working around music, you realize every person, every dream, every city sends signals, some fade, some echo, some guide. The hook returned, harmonies wider, the melody softer now. The room felt suspended like gravity that faded outside. The skyline glowed faintly inside. The music kept drifting, warm, dreams like alive. The final verse almost whispered like a thought shared with the sky. Then the hook returned one final time. Voices blending, echoes spreading across the skyline, across the quality, across the aurora frequency. And when the music ended, the silence still carried that signal through the night. Some nights some nights sky feels crowded, not with noise, with stars. Working around music long enough, you begin noticing that cities have constellations too. Not above or below, street lights lined along quiet roads, windows glowing across tall buildings, taxi headlights moving slowly through intersection. Each night a small signal, each signal a story. That night the city felt calm but alive, a distant train moving underground, and a bicycle passing quietly, someone laughing 2 blocks away. The air felt open, like the sky had lowered itself closer to the streets. Inside the studio the lights were low, someone sitting near the speakers, someone watching the sky, someone tracing rhythms on the desk, because inspiration often appears when the room feels quiet. And the speaker softly woke, a modular synth pulse, short, steady, repeating like a heartbeat, a rose chord followed, warm, uncomfortable, lingering in the air. Then a muted guitar note, delicate, echoing softly. Then the drums arrive, kick landing, new steep, snare warm with rim shot texture, hi-hats ticking like then rolling, then drifting again like footsteps wandering through empty streets. Then a bass low, smooth, gliding beneath the groove like shadows stretching across neon. The room reacted, heads nodding slowly because the rhythm felt hypnotic. Then the voice arrived, melodic, calm words floating between the drums, half spoken, half sung. The verse unfolded, stories about observation, about realizing how quickly people follow whatever shines without asking if it belongs to them. A line about walking alone under glowing windows, feeling invisible but clear. Someone listening would understand, because solitude sometimes feels like freedom. The beat shifted, ambient synth tones rising softly, filtered vocal fragments drifting through the air. A pre-hug lifted, the energy building, lights appearing across the skyline. And the hook arrived, a voice singing soft, emotional, floating above the groove. Layered harmonies spreading wide, analog delay trailing behind like stars stretching across night sky. The melody gentle, memorable, the kind people replay late at night. The beat returns slightly deeper, the verse followed more reflecting, cadence slower, words landing with calm certainty. Lines about independence, about choosing your own direction instead of chasing bright distractions. Working around music, you begin realizing every person, every dream, every city has its own constellation. Some follow, some fade, some guide, a hook return. Harmonies wider, the melody softer. Now the room felt suspended, like the night had paused outside. The skyline glowed quietly, lights flickering across towers inside. The music kept breathing warm, dream-like alive. The final verse almost whispered, like a thought written in the dark. Then the hook returned one final time. Voices blending, the echoes drifting across the speakers, across the skyline, across the quiet stars. And when the music ended, the silence still held. Some nights
Where sound belong tonight.
Not because they're quiet, because they echo differently. Working around music long enough, you start to hear how the dark changes sound. Footsteps travel farther, voices soften, even silence feels deeper. That night the air felt calm, not empty, just slow. Streetlights humming above narrow roads, a train passing somewhere in the distance. Windows glowing across tall buildings. The city was still awake, but in a different way, like the final act of a long story. Inside the studio, someone dimmed the light, someone leaned over the mixer, someone pressed play, because sometimes the right beat arrives when the room is quiet. The speakers crackled softly, a faint tape hiss, warm, comfortable like an old record spinning. Then a chord appeared, mellotron tones, soft, vintage, floating out where the roads, no answer, slowly repeating, patient. Then a distant vocal fragment, chop, reverse like a ghost passing through sound. Then the drums arrive, kick dusty, steady like footsteps on pavement. The snare textured, warm, landing gently between the rhythm, hi-hats ticking, loose relaxed, drifting slightly behind the beat. Then the bass, deep, rounded, sliding softly beneath the chords like shadows moving across walls. The room reacted, heads nodding. Someone closed their eyes because the groove felt nostalgic. Then the voice appeared, my lighted, measured, words flowing between the drums, not sharp, just smooth. The verse unfolded, stories about nights, about listening to old records while the world outside moves too fast, about realizing not everything needs urgency. A line about watching the skyline while a song repeats endlessly. Someone listening would understand, because music often feels like memory. The beat shifted, a synth tone rising softly, background voices layering like echoes in a hallway. The pre-hook lifted, energy building like breath before a confession. Then the hook arrived, a voice singing, warm, emotional, floating above the groove. Analog delay stretching the sound like light, spreading across fog. The melody gentle, immediate, the kind people replay. Gent at night, the beat returned deeper now. The verse followed, more fed to cadence, slower words landing with calm certainty. Lines about independence, about choosing your own rhythm instead of running with the crowd. Working around music, you learn some sounds do not belong to daytime. They belong to midnight, to quiet rooms, to long thought. The hook returned, harmonies wider, the melody softer. Now the room felt suspended like time had paused outside. The skyline was fading slowly. Morning, not far away inside. The music kept breathing, warm, vintage, alive. The final verse almost whispered like the last line of a letter. Then the hook returned one final time, voices blending, echoes expanding across the night, across the city, across the tape. And when the song ended, the tape hiss remained soft and gentle like a memory, still echoing through midnight.
Clouds move slowly, then
drifting above the city. Street lights glowing through the mist. The skyline looks soft, almost cinematic, like the entire city was part of a quiet film. Cars move slowly through intersections, their headlights cutting long reflections. Across wet streets, people walk without urgency. Some talking quietly, some staring at their phones, some simply watching the night inside the studio. The room was calm, the lights dim. Someone sitting on the floor, someone scrolling through sound, someone watching the clouds. Because sometimes the best ideas begin when nothing is forced and the speakers came alive. A reverse piano swell, soft, slow, like a memory play, playing backwards. A warm pad followed, floating outward, expanding the room. Then a synth loop, short, repeating, slightly uneven, like footsteps wandering through empty streets. Then the drums arrive, the kick loose, patient, not perfectly centered, just human. The snare, dusty, soft, landing gently between the rhythm. Hi-hats, light, ticking slowly, drifting behind the beat. Then the bass, deep, rounded, moving smoothly beneath the chords, like clouds sliding across moonlight. The room reacted. Someone nodded, someone leaned closer to the speakers, because the groove felt hypnotic. Then the voice arrived, wide, calm, words floating through the rhythm, half spoken, half sung. The verse unfolded, stories about reflection, about walking through quiet streets, thinking about how the world always seems to be moving faster than it should align, about choosing patience while everyone else runs. Someone listening with understanding, cause slowing down is harder than speed up. The beat shifted, synth textures rising softly, background voices appearing like echoes. The pre-hook lifted, energy building like clouds opening to reveal moonlight. Then the hook arrived, the voice singing gentle, wide, the melody floating above the rhythm. Analog delay trailing softly like sound drifting through night air. The room changed, someone closed their eyes, cause melodies like that create space. The beat returned slightly deeper, the verse followed more reflected, cadence slower, words landing with quiet confidence. Lines about independence, about creating your own pace instead of chasing every new direction. Working around music, you realize some songs are not built for crowds, they are built for moments, for headphones, for people watching clouds. The hook returned, harmonies wider, the melody softer. Now the room felt suspended, like time had slowed outside. The clouds continued drifting across the skyline inside. The music kept floating warm, dreamlike, alive. The final verse almost whispered like the closing line of a quiet film. Then the hook returned one final time. Voices blending, echoes spreading across the speakers, across the city, across the clouds. And when the music stopped, the silence still carried the atmosphere of the night, like a scene pause inside a cloud loop cinema. The cloud loops in the night. Every night has a final moment, not the loud ending, the quiet one. Work around music long enough, you begin to notice the moment when darkness starts releasing the city that night. Had to reach that moment, the streets were nearly empty, street lights fading slowly one by one. Taxi headlights moving lazily through intersections, the sky no longer black, just deep blue, like
like the beginning of something new. Windows across towers still glowing but softer now, as if the city was preparing to rest. Inside the studio the room felt calm, someone leaning against the desk, someone staring through the window, someone replaying the last beat. Because sometimes the final song needs patience, then the speakers breathe quietly, a single piano note, soft, lonely, echoing through long delay. Then another, like footsteps moving slowly through empty halls. A wide and a log pad followed, floating gently like morning fog above the skyline. A rose chord answered softly, warm, comfortable. Then the drums arrived, kick landed slow, deep, not aggressive, just steady. The snare warm with rim shot texture, hi-hats ticking, light then rolling, then fading again, like breath in cold morning air. Then the bass low, smooth gliding beneath the chords, like distant traffic moving towards sunrise. The room reacted, heads nodding slowly because the groove felt final, not ending, just complete. Then the voice arrived, melodic, calm, words floating between the drums, half spoken, half sung. The verse unfolded, stories about reflection, about nights spent chasing ideas while the world slept, about realizing not every dream needs applause, some only need time. A line about watching the skyline as the sky slowly changes color, someone listening would understand, because the quiet before morning feels honest. The beat shifted, ambient tones rising gently, filtered vocal textures drifting across the air. The pre-hook lifted, energy building like sunlight, waiting beyond the horizon. And the hook arrived, a voice singing, warm, emotional, floating above the rhythm, layered harmony spreading wide, delay echo stretching outward like light, touching the skyline. The melody simple, clear, the kind people remember long after the night ends. The beat returns slightly brighter, the verse follow more sledgery, cadence slower, words landing with calm certainty. Lines about independence, about trusting your own rhythm instead of following every signal. Working around music you realize every night, leave behind something, a lesson, a thought, a sound, a memory. The hook returned, harmonies wider, the melodies softer. Now the room felt suspended between night and morning. Outside the sky was turning pale, streetlights fading inside. The music kept breathing, warm, oh for life. The final verse almost whispered like the last page of a long letter. Then the hook returned, one final time, voices blending, echoes spreading across the speakers, across the skyline, across the waking sky. And when the music ended, the sun was already rising, because every night becomes morning, but the songs remain stored quietly inside a dawn echo archive.
Cities often look their most honest late at night, not because the lights disappear, because the noise finally quiets. Working around music long enough, you begin to understand that night is not darkness, it is clarity. That evening, the skyline felt endless. Glass towers reflecting faint neon, street lights glowing in long lines across quiet roads. A few taxis passing slowly, their headlights pinging thin ribbons across wet pavement. The world felt suspended, like time had stretched just a little inside the studio. The lights were low, someone sitting by the window, someone adjusting the keyboard, someone staring at the ceiling. Because sometimes the best sounds appear when the room stops trying. Then the speakers breathe, this soft pad wide, floating slowly like clouds above the skyline. Like a rose chord answer, gently warm, comfortable, lingering in the air. Then a vibraphone note, light shimmering, repeating softly. Then the muted guitar phrase echoing quietly. Then the drums arrive, kick landing steady, patience. The snare warm with rim shot texture, hi-hats ticking loose, then rolling, then drifting again, like footsteps wandering through night streaks. Then the bass deep, smooth, gliding beneath the chords, like traffic moving far below the skyline. The room reacted, heads nodding, someone smiling because the groove felt effortless, then the voice arrived, melodic, calm, words floating through the rhythm, half rap, half song. The verse unfolded, stories about perspective, about watching crowds chase noise while quiet ideas grow slowly, about realizing not every spotlight deserves attention. The line about standing alone on the rooftop, watching the city breathe. Someone listening would understand, because solitude sometimes feels like truth. The beat shifted, a gentle synth arpeggio, appearing slowly like distant lights turning on. The filtered vocal fragments drifting across the groove. The pre-hook lifted, the energy rising like wind moving between buildings. Then the hook arrived, the voice singing soulful, open, floating above the rhythm. Layered harmonies spreading wide, delay echoes trailing behind like sounds stretching across night air. The melody simple, honest, the kind people feel more than remember. The beat returned warmer now, the verse followed, more reflective, cadence slower, words landing with quiet confidence. Lines about independence, about creating your own path instead of copying every signal the world sends. Working around music, you realize life is not a straight line. It is a theory built from moments, from mistakes, from quiet discoveries. The return harmonies wider, the melody softer. Now the room felt larger, like the skyline had entered through the speakers outside. The city lights continued glowing inside. The music kept drifting, warm, dream-like, alive. The final verse almost whispered, like a thought shared with the night. Then the hook returned one final time. Voices blending, echoes spreading across the skyline, across the quiet air, across the velvet night. And when the music ended, the silence still held that skyline theory. There are nights when the sky feels closer, not because the stars are brighter, because your mind is quieter. Working around music long enough, you learn that silence is not empty. It is space. That night the city felt distant, not far away, just softer. Street lights glowing like small suns along empty roads. The skyline floating quietly above the horizon. Cars move slowly, their headlights drawing thin lines across the pavement. The wind moved gently through open windows, carrying the quiet of the night. Inside the studio, the room was dim. Someone leaning against the wall, someone sitting with headphones, eyes closed, listening, because some sounds do not belong to daylight. They belong to nights like this. Then the speakers breathe softly, an ambient pad wide, floating like air moving through clouds. A distant guitar harmonic, light, fragile, shimmering gently. Then a rose chord, warm, patient, repeating slowly. Then the drums arrive, the soft kick landing deep inside the groove. The snare rounded, warm, touching the rhythm lightly. Hi-hats ticking slow, loose, drifting behind the beat. And the bass deep, smooth, sliding beneath the chord like shadows moving across moonlight. The room reacted, heads nodding, slow, thoughtful, because the groove felt weightless. Then the voice arrived, melodic, relaxed, words floating through the rhythm, not sharp, not rushed, just drifting. The verse unfolded, stories about perspective, about realizing how much noise exists in the world and how little little of it matters. A line about watching the skyline while thinking about time. Someone listening would understand it, because quiet nights often reveal clear thoughts. The beat shifted, a reverse piano fragment echoing softly. Ambient synth leads gliding slowly like satellites moving through orbit. A pre-uplifted entity rising gently like a tide. Then the hook arrived, the voice singing soft, emotional, floating above the groove. Layer harmony spreading outward, belay echoes stretching the sound like signals traveling through space. The melody simple, beautiful, the kind that feels larger than the room. The beat returned slightly deeper, the verse followed, more reflective, cadence lower, words landing with calm confidence. Lines about independence, about learning to trust your own rhythm instead of chasing every new direction. Working around music, you realize life moves like orbit, not straight lines. Sometimes slow, sometimes fast, but always moving. The hook returned, harmonies wider, the melody softer. Now the room felt suspended like gravity. It faded outside, the sky lived endless inside. The music kept lifting one, dreamlike, alive. The final verse almost whispered like a thought spoken to the night. Then the hook returned one last time, voices blending, echoes spreading across the speakers, across the skyline, across the quiet sky. And when the music stopped, the silence still carrying the motion of those soft orbit nights.
There are moments when the city looks different, not because anything changed, but because you notice something working around music long enough. You learn that the same street can feel completely new depending on how you listen. That night the sidewalks were nearly empty, only a few footsteps echoing through quiet blocks. Street lights, soft and worn, neon reflections fading slowly across wet pavement. The skyline felt distant, like a painting hung above the city. Cars passed occasionally, the headlights moving slowly through the dark. The world felt calm, but awake inside the studio. The room was quiet, someone sitting on the floor, someone adjusting a microphone, someone staring at a notebook half filled with unfinished lines. Because sometimes the best ideas appear when you stop forcing them. Then the speakers breathe softly, a rose chord warm, deep, comfortable, the kind of sound that fills a room without asking. A rise or in tone answered light, shimmering like distant stars. Yeah. Then a guitar, harmonic, clean, delicate, repeating gently. Then the drums arrive, a dusty kick, steady, patient, landing deep inside the groove. The snare soft with rim shot warm, touching the rhythm gently. Hi-hats ticking loose, relaxed like footsteps wandering through empty streets. Then the bass slow, smooth, sliding beneath the chords like shadows moving across walls. The room reacted, heads nodding, someone smiling because the groove felt peaceful. Then the voice arrived, melodic, unhurried words drifting through the rhythm, half rap, half song. The verse unfolded, stories about observation, about noticing how people often chase what everyone else wants without asking what they want. A line about standing still while the world runs past. Someone listening would understand, because clarity often arrives in quiet places. The beat shifted, brush percussion appearing softly, analogs and accents glowing faintly like lights appearing across distant buildings. The pre-hook lifted, energy rising, slow, natural like dawn approaching. Then the hook arrived, a voice singing soulful, open, floating above the groove. Layered harmony spreading wide, the melody simple, honest, the kind people feel more than remember. The beat returned warmer now, the verse followed or deflected, cadence slower, words landing with calm certainty. Lines about independence, about choosing your own direction instead of copying every new trend. Working around music, you begin to realize life is not a single path, it is a mosaic. Small pieces, different colors, different rhythms, all forming something unique. The hook returned, harmonies wider, the melody softer. Now the room felt suspended, like time had slowed outside. The skyline was beginning to fade inside. The music kept breathing, warm, reflection alive. The final verse almost whispered, like a thought written late at. Then the hook returned, one last time. Voices blending, echoes spreading across the speakers, across the city, across the quiet air. And when the music ended, the silence still held all the small pieces of the night, like an after-hours mosaic. Do not speak, they whisper. Working around music long enough, you begin to hear those whispers. In the quiet parts of the night, that evening felt calm but not empty. Street lights glowing above silent roads, neon signs buzzing softly above closed doors. Rain earlier had left the pavement wet, the reflections looked like moving paintings. Cars pass slowly, headlights sliding across glass windows. People walking alone, not in a hurry, just moving. Because sometimes the night feels like a place to think. Inside the studio, the lights were low. Someone leaning against the wall, someone scribbling lines in a notebook, someone staring through the window at the city waiting. Because some beats do not arrive until the room is quiet. Then the speakers woke softly, a muted piano chord, warm minimal hanging in the air. Then a distant tone, almost like a trumpet but softer like light, moving through fog. A rose chord answered slowly, gentle, patient. Then the drums arrive, a dusty kick landing deep in the groove. The snare soft, almost brush touching the rhythm lightly. Hi-hats ticking, legs drifting behind the beat. Then the bass slow, rounded, gliding beneath the chords like shadows moving across neon. The room reacted, heads nodding, someone smiling because the groove felt thoughtful. Then the voice arrived, calm, measured words floating through the rhythm, not aggressive, just certain, diverse.
Some streets do not speak, they whisper. Working around music long enough, you begin to hear those whispers. In the quiet parts of the night that evening felt calm but not empty. Street lights glowing above silent roads, neon signs buzzing softly above closed doors. Rain earlier had left the pavement wet. The reflections looked like moving paintings. Cars pass slowly, headlights sliding across glass windows. People walking alone, not in a hurry, just moving. Because sometimes the night feels like a place to think. Inside the studio, the lights were low. Someone leaning against the wall, someone scribbling lines in a notebook, someone staring through the window at the city waiting. Because some beats do not arrive until the room is quiet. Then the speakers woke softly, a muted piano chord, warm minimal hanging in the air. Then a distant tone, almost like a trumpet but softer like light, moving through fog. A rose chord answered slowly, gentle, patient. Then the drums arrive, a dusty kick landing deep in the groove. The snare soft, almost brush touching the rhythm lightly. Hi-hats ticking, ooh, legs drifting behind the beat. Then the bass slow, rounded, gliding beneath the chords like shadows moving across neon. The room reacted, heads nodding, someone smiling because the groove felt thoughtful. Then the voice arrived, calm, measured words floating through the rhythm, not aggressive, just certain. The verse unfolded, stories about observation, about watching how people chase noise while ignoring quiet truths, about realizing the loudest rooms often hide the emptiest thoughts. A line about walking through neon streets, feeling invisible but strangely free. Someone listening would understand, because solitude sometimes feels powerful. The beat shifted, a sax like synth line appearing softly, winding through the groove. Background vocals layering gently like distant echoes. A pre-hook lifted, energy rising slowly like breath before confession. Then the hook arrived, a voice singing smooth, emotional, floating above the rhythm. Harmonies widening, the melody simple but deep, the kind that stays. The song ends, the beat return, slightly stronger, the verse follow, more ephedry cadence, slower words landing with intention. Lines about an independence, about choosing your own direction instead of following crowds. Working around music, you realize some rhythms are not meant for clubs. They belong to quiet streets, to late conversations, to people who listen. The hook return, harmonies wider, the melody softer. Now the room felt suspended like the night had paused. Outside, neon reflections shimmered across pavement. Inside, the music kept breathing, warm, calm, alive. The final verse almost whispered like poetry, written under street light. Then the hook returned one final time. Voices blending, echoes spreading across the city, across the neon shadows. And when the music stopped, the silence still carried those quiet lines like poetry written by the night. Every city has a different sound. After midnight, not the noise, the feeling. Working around music long enough, you begin to notice the space between sounds, the quiet between moments. That night, the air felt heavy, not in a bad way, just thick like something was waiting. The streets were almost empty, a few taxis gliding slowly, neon lights buzzing faintly, reflections stretching across wet pavement. The city looked softer, like someone had turned the brightness down. Inside the studio, the window was open, cold air moving the curtain. Someone leaned back in the chair, someone closed their eyes, because certain nights do not ask for loud music, they ask for atmosphere. Then the speakers woke up, a faint crackle like vinyl dust, then a reverse guitar, soft, swelling slowly like breath in cold air. A deep tuned chord followed, floating, almost unstable. Then a piano note, dusty, warm, repeating slowly, repeating slowly. Then a piano note, dusty, warm, repeating slowly. Then the drums arrive, a loose kick, heavy but patient. The snare soft with a rim shot edge, hi-hats ticking lazy, drifting slightly behind the beat. Then the bass deep, smooth, not aggressive, just gliding like fog rolling across a quiet street. The room changed, someone nodded slowly, because the groove felt hypnotic. Then the voice arrived, melodic, the lights, words stretching across the rhythm, not tight, just floating. The verse unfolded, stories about reflection, about walking through empty neighborhoods, about realizing how quiet success actually is. A line about watching trends rise and fall like waves. Someone listening would understand, because the loudest voices are rarely the most certain. The beat breathers in Texas. And brother, where is it? Beating slowly. Where is it? And brother, where is it? Beating slowly. Then the hook arrived, a voice singing, dreamlike, gentle, the melody hovering above the beat, ambient echoes drifting outward like sound traveling through fog. The room felt wider, someone leaned closer to the speakers, because melodies like that feel cinematic. The beat returns slightly deeper, the verse followed low, introspective, its cadence slower, words landing with calm confidence, lines about independence, about choosing your own timing. Instead of rushing with everyone else, working around music, you realize not every rhythm needs speed. Some grooves work better when they breathe. The hook returned, harmonies wider, the melody softer. Now the room felt suspended like time had paused. So still, so still, so still, so still. Being slowly, so still. Drifting over tall buildings. Inside, the music kept floating. Warm, dreamlike, alive, the final verse quiet, a rhythm like the last thought before sleep. Then the hook returned one last time, voices blending, echoes spreading across the night, across the city, across the quiet air. And when the song ended, the silence did not feel empty, because the atmosphere was still there, hovering like velour static in the dark. There's always a moment when the night begins to fade. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just slowly. Working around music wrong enough, you begin noticing how the end of a night feels different from the beginning. Energy changes, people change, even the city moves differently. That night had reached that point, the streets were quieter, but not empty. Cars cars passing with long headlights. Crosswalks, singers blinking patiently. A distant train rumbling beneath the pavement. The skyline still glowing, it's softer now, like the city was exhaling. Inside the studio, the lights were low. Someone leaning against the wall, someone watching the skyline, someone scrolling through unfinished beats. Because sometimes the final song of the night arrives now is for a reason. And the speakers clicked on a slow pass right across the room, soft white light across the tall buildings. And a muted guitar note, simple repeating. Combo piano chord answer, warms it'll open the space. Then the drums arrive, kit landing, steady, not aggressive, just confident. The snare sharp balanced, hi-hats ticking lightly, then rolling and resting like breath between thoughts. Then the bass deep, elastic sliding beneath the groove like traffic flowing through the last hours of night. The room reacted, heads nodding, someone sniding, because the beat felt right, not loud, just certain. And the voice arrived, rhythmic measure, words gliding through the rhythm like reflections, moving across glass. The verse unfolded, stories about ambition, about nights spent building something invisible, about watching people chase attention while you chase purpose. A line about walking alone on a quiet street, feeling strangely calm. Someone listening would understand, because success rarely begins with applause. The beat shifted, synth chords rising, background vocals appearing softly, like echoes between buildings. The pre-hook lifted, energy building like sunrise, waiting below the horizon. Then the hook around, the voice singing smooth, clear, floating above the rhythm, layered harmony, spreading wide. The melody bright, memorable, the kind people repeat without thinking. A room changed, someone leaned back, someone hummed the line, because melodies like that stay. The beat returns stronger, the verse follow more confident, cadence dancing through hi-hats like reflections across the skyline. Lines about independence, about trusting your own timing instead of racing with the crowd. Working around music, you realize every night, every city, every dream has an ending, but endings are not silence, they are transitions. The hook returns stronger, harmonies brighter, the melody rising above the groove. Now the rhythm felt full like the entire night condensed into one moment. Outside, the skyline began to fade, a pale hand in mornings touching the horizon. Inside, the music kept moving, warm, confident, alive. The final verse, quiet, reflective, like the last thought before sleep. And the hook returned one last time. Voices rising, harmonies blowing across the beat, across the room, across the city. And when the song ended, the sky was already changing, because every night eventually becomes morning, but the music remains somewhere above the skyline, waiting for the next night. Some streets, yeah, rhythm. Some streets, yeah. Some streets carry rhythm. Some streets carry rhythm. Not because the music is playing, because movement never stops. Working around music long enough, you begin to notice cities breathing patterns, cars full, signals change. People drift, and somewhere inside all that motion, a groove appears at night, the avenue glows. Street lights lined up like Christ stars, taxi headlights cutting through thin mist. People crossing intersections, target, laughing, arguing about things that would not matter in the morning. But in that moment, everything felt important. Inside the studio, the window was slightly open. The city sound weakened inside. Someone tapped the deck. Slow rhythm. Someone said, listen to that. Not the noise, the better. And the speakers clicked on a soft electric piano chord, smooth lingering in the air. In a smart plug synth note, repeating like a distant signal. Then another, building the post, and the drums arrive, kick landing steady, like footsteps on pavement. The snare, sharps, confident, hi-hats ticking, rolling and pausing and rolling again, like breath between sentences. Then the bass beat, elastic, sliding beneath the groove like traffic, moving through midnight streets. The room reacted, heads nodding, someone smiling, cause the rhythm felt alive. Then the voice arrived, rhythmic, calm, words weaving between the drums. That voice just natural. At first unfolded stories about independence, about watching crowds run toward Avenue trend, about standing still And realizing not every direction is meant for you. A line about walking alone, y'all ain't blowing street, feeling unexpectedly free. Someone nodded because everyone at some point feels that moment where silence is better than noise. The beach after sync chords rising, background voices layering softly like echoes across tall buildings. The green hook lifted, energy building like the city holding breath in the hook ride. The voice singing smooth, right, floating above the rhythm. Layered harmonies widening the sound. The melody simple, memorable, the kind people hum without thinking the groove return. The first follow more playful, cadence bouncing through hi-hats like reflections across silver windows. Lines about ambition, about building your own lane instead of chasing someone else's. Berging around music, you realize every street, every person, every dream moves differently. Some follow, some drift, some create their own rhythm. The hook returns stronger, harmonies brighter, the melody rising above the groove. Now the room felt larger, like the avenue outside had entered through the speakers. The final verse, reflective like the last thought before morning. And the hook returned one final time. Voices lifting, harmony shining across the beat, across the room, across the avenue. And when the music stopped, the city we still move. Because rhythms never truly end. They continue down silver streets, waiting for another voice. Some streets, some streets, some streets, some streets, some streets.
Cities speak in quiet ways, not always through noise, sometimes through motion. Working around music long enough, you begin to notice that every place is rhythm, every street a pattern, every night a tempo. That evening felt electric, not chaotic, just alive. Neon signs glowing across storefront windows, taxi headlights sliding down wet asphalt. People walking without hurry but without stopping. The city felt awake inside the studio. Someone stretched their arms, someone stared at the skyline, someone tapped a rhythm on the desk. Because inspiration often arrives when you stop looking for it. Then the speakers crackle, the synth pulse, short, bright, repeating like a signal. Another note answered it, then another, forming a pattern like light reflections across glass buildings. Then a piano chord, warm, subtle, expanding the space. Then the drums arrive, kick landing, clean, precise, snare snapping, sharp balance, hi-hats rolling, quick burst, then silence, then burst again like footsteps in narrow streets. Then a bass sliding low, elastic, moving with the kick like cars gliding through intersections. The room reacted, heads nodding, someone smiley cause the groove felt effortless. Then the voice appeared, lets me control words weaving between the drums, not rushing, just riding. A verse unfolded, stories about independence, about watching trends appear and disappear, about refusing to follow every new direction, a line about choosing silence over noise. Someone nodded because everyone has felt that moment when the world moves too fast. The beat shifted, synth chords rising, background vocals floating behind like distant echoes. The pre-hook lifted, energy building like the city, drawing breath in a hook arrive, a voice singing smooth, confident, floating above the rhythm, layer harmony spreading through the speakers. The melody's simple, immediate, the kind people hum without realizing the groove returns. Sharper the verse, follow more playful, cadence bouncing between hi-hats like reflections across mirror towers. Lines about ambition, about building your own direction instead of chasing someone else's. Working around music, you realize every person, every city, every dream and city. No, some faces, some drift, some travel across the night. Across the night, across the night, across the night. The hook returned, stronger, harmonies wider, the melody shining above the groove. Now the rhythm felt larger but still controlled outside. The skyline shimmer, lights glowing endlessly in inside the studio, the music kept moving, confident, alive. The final verse short, the wet feel like the last stop before sunrise. Then the hook returned one final time, voices lifting harmonies, glowing across the beat, across the room, across the city. And when the music stopped, the silence still carried the neon drift of the night. Some nights feel quiet, others feel loud, but there are nights that feel like signals. Invisible frequencies moving through the air, working around music long enough you start noticing those signals. Moments when the city changes pace, not dramatically, just slightly enough for people to feel it. That night felt like one of those. The streets were busy but not chaotic, cars passing slowly, music leaking from open doors, people walking with purpose even if they did not know where they were going. Street lights glow soft orange halos above intersections. The city looked alive but calm inside the studio. Someone leaned back in the chair, watching the ceiling. Someone else adjusted the speakers, waiting because sometimes the right sound arrives quietly. Then the music began, a synth tone soft repeating like a pulse, a signal searching for attention. A warm chord answered it, electric piano gentle. Rested in the drums arrived, the kick sharp, precise, landing exactly where it needed. The snare clean, confident, cutting through the groove. Hi-hats roll quick, then pause, then roll again, like footsteps moving through an empty hallway. Then the bass deep elastic, sliding beneath the rhythm like subway trains moving under the city. The room reacted, heads nodding, someone tapping their fingers. The groove felt natural, then the voice arrived, bang, measured, words landed between the kicks like footsteps crossing pavement. The verse unfolded, stories about independence, about watching trends rise and fall, about refusing to run with every crowd, a line about building your own sound while everyone else copies echo. Someone laugh because the truth was simple. Confidence does not need approval. The beat breathe, the synth motif spinning again like radio signals moving through the night. The pre-hook grows, background long woke and slowly layered harmonies expanding the space like the city taking a deep breath. Then the hook arrived, a voice singing smooth, bright, floating above the rhythm. The melody immediate, memorable, like something you have heard in a dream. The room changed, someone leaned forward, someone started humming along, because hooks like that belong to everyone. The beat returned sharper, the verse followed more playful, cadence bouncing between hi-hats like headlights sliding across glass buildings. Lines about ambition, about ignoring noise, about building your own frequency. Working around music, you learn every voice, every idea, every rhythm transmits something. Some signals fade, others travel far. The hook returns stronger, harmonies rising, the melody shining above the groove. Now the rhythm felt unstoppable, not loud, just magnetic. Outside, the city continues. The city continue. La 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 la. City continued, lights glowing, cars moving, conversations drifting inside. The music kept breathing smooth, confident, alive. The final verse short, like the last stop before sunrise. Then the hook returned one last time, voices lifting, harmonies glowing across the beat, across the room, across the city. And when the music stopped, the silence still carried the frequency. Cities made of glass look different at night. During the day they reflect the sky. At night they reflect ambition. Working around music long enough, you begin to recognize that cities have moods just like people. Some nights feel quiet, others feel restless. That night felt restless, not chaotic, just full of forward motion. The skyline shimmer, thousands of windows glowing like signals broadcasting through the dark. People moving between buildings, some leaving work, some chasing opportunities, some pretending they weren't tired inside the studio. The room was still a soft lamp, light in the desk. Someone scrolling through recordings, someone watching the skyline thinking. Then the speakers came alive. The synth arpeggio sharp, repeating like reflections, moving across glass towers. A reverse guitar floated behind it, so almost distant. Then a piano step, short, precise, answering the rhythm. Then the drums arrived, the kick landed tight, confident exactly where it belonged. The snare bright, cutting clean through the room. Hi-hats rolling, quick burst in silence, then burst again like footsteps echoing through corridors. Then the bass sliding deep elastic, moving with the kick like elevators dropping through steel shafts. The room reacted, heads nodding, someone leaning closer to the speakers because the groove felt controlled. Then a voice appeared, rhythm measured, words stacking with precision. Not rushed, not careless, just deliberate. The verse unfolded, stories about ambition, about watching crowds chase whatever is trending, about choosing move differently, a line about standing still while the world runs. Someone nodded, big attention existing, everyone. The beat shifted, in chords rising slightly, background vocals lay like distant echoes across tall buildings. The pre-hook tied in energy building like the moment before a storm. Then the hook arrived, a voice singing smooth, confident, floating above the rhythm, layered harmony, spreading through the speakers. The melody clear, memorable, the kind people hum before they noticed. The city outside kept moving, cars gliding through intersections, lights changing, glass towers reflecting everything inside. The beat returned sharper, the verse followed more focused, cadence weaving through hi-hats like reflections across mirrored windows. Lines about independence, about ignoring noise, about building your own pulse. Working around music, you begin realizing every city, every person, every dream has rhythm. Some follow, some create. The hook returns, stronger harmonies wider, the melody shining above the groove. Now the room felt larger, like the skyline had entered through the windows. The final verse short, it's like the last thought before morning. Then the hook returned one final time, voices rising, harmonies glowing across the rhythm, across the room, across the glass city. And when the song ended, the skyline still shimmered, because some rhythms do not stop, they continue, pulsing through the night, waiting for the next voice to follow them. The party had already ended, but the night was not finished. Working around music long enough, you learn that the real moments often happen after everyone leaves. The lights inside the building were fading one by one, people drifting towards taxis, someone laughing too loudly, someone promising to text tomorrow, someone all raving, forgetting what the night was about. Outside, the air felt cooler, streetlights humming, the city still breathing slowly. Inside the studio, someone closed the door softly, someone dropped into the chair, someone said that was loud, and someone else smiled. Now we can hear the real music, the speakers crackle, then a low pulse, deep subtle bass tone rising slowly like gravity, pulling the room down. A distant vocal, texture floated above it, unclear, almost ghost-like. Then a piano, simple, minimal, repeating, patient. Then the drums arrived, the kick landed heavy, confident, not fast, just deliberate. The snare sharp, bright, cutting clean through the bass. Hi-hats roll quick, unpredictable like footsteps running down a hallway. Then the 808 sliding deep, moving through the groove like a current. Beneath calm water, the room shifted, heads nodding, bodies relaxing, because the groove felt grounded. The verse began in focus, words landing with intention. Not rushed, just precise, the voice carried attitude, but also calm control. Lines about nights, about ambition, about
start watching people chase attention while you quietly build momentum. Someone nodded because the truth feels familiar. The beat breathed, the bass pulse returning stronger. The room felt heavier like gravity had increased. The pre-hook rose slowly, synth chords expanding, background voices layering softly like echoes in a wide room. Then the hook arrived, her voice singing smooth, delighted, floating above the rhythm, harmony stacking wide bright. The melody felt effortless like something that had always existed. The beat returned sharper, the verse followed more confident, cadence shifting between hi-hats like headlights cutting across dark streets. Lines about independence, about ignoring pressure, about building a sound that does not ask for permission. Working around music, you begin to understand things. Success is rarely loud. Sometimes it grows quietly after the party when the room finally listens. The hook returns stronger, harmonies rising, the melody shining above the groove. The melody shining above the groove. Now the rhythm felt unstoppable outside. The city was still awake, cars moving, windows glowing. I continuing inside, the music kept breathing, deep, confident, alive. The final verse short, felt just like the last thought before sunrise. Then the hook returned one last time, voices rising, harmony shining across the beat, across the room, across the city. And when the song ended, the silence felt powerful, because the energy had not disappeared, it had only changed gravity, pulling the night closer into memory.
Some cities never truly sleep, they only change tempo. Working around music long enough, you learn that places have rhythms. Just like songs, some neighborhoods move slowly, others never stopped at night. The streets were alive, not crowded but full of motion. Food stands glowing under warm lights. People leaning against small tables, talking louder than they meant to. Someone laughing across the street, someone calling a friend, someone walking without direction, just enjoying the movement. The air smelled like spices, like real food, like the middle of a long evening. Inside the studio, the window was slightly open, the noise of the city slipping inside. Someone said, listen to that rhythm, not the traffic, not the voices, the pattern, the way everything moved together. Then the music began, a short guitar stab, you hear beat met like footsteps on pavement. A synth chord answered it sharp, bright, repeating in small bursts, and the drums arrive. Kick, snare, the groove landed perfectly. Hi-hats ticking fast patterns, rolling through the spaces in the bass, sliding low elastic, moving with the kick like neon lights dancing on wet asphalt. The room reacted, someone nodded, someone smiling because the groove felt alive. Then the voice arrived, confident words stacking one after another, quick, precise, like walking through a crowded street. A verse unfolded, stories about nights, about watching people chase the newest trends, about realizing how quickly the crowd will change its direction, but the music stays. A line about standing still while the world runs. Someone laughing because everyone knows that feeling. The beat shifted, synth chords lifted slightly, vocal chops echoing softly. The groove tightening like the moment before a crowd starts dancing. In the hook arrive, the voice singing smooth, bright, the melody rising above the rhythm. Yeah, the hook arrive, yeah, the hook arrive, yeah, hook arrive, the melody rising above the rhythm, layer harmony spreading through the room. The hook felt immediate, like something people could sing without trying. The beat continued stronger now, the verse returned, more playful cadence bouncing between highest lines, about ambition, about ignoring noise, about building your own rhythm instead of chasing someone else's. Working around music, you realize every city, every person, every night has a pattern. You either follow it or create your own. Oh yeah. The hook return. Harmonies wider, the melody brighter. Now the groove felt unstoppable, not chaotic, just alive outside the night market. Continued lights glowing, voices rising. News drifted in between buildings inside the studio. The song kept moving, confident, playful, electric. The final verse, short, sharp, like the last line of a good conversation. And the hook returned one final time. Voices slipped in harmony, shining across the beat, across the city, across the night. And when the music stopped, someone opened the window wider, because the rhythm was still outside, moving through the streets, waiting for the next song. The huggle. So nice, so quietly. No announcement, no sudden change. Yeah, just a subtle shift in the atmosphere. Working around music long enough, you begin to notice the difference between ordinary evenings and the ones that slowly turn into stories. Bad night felt like the second kind. The sky was still holding a faint glow, even though the sun had already left. Streetlights flickered one by one, like signals activating across the city. Cars roll past with quiet confidence. Rules are drifting through open windows. Someone laughing down the block, someone arguing about something that probably will not matter tomorrow. The city was alive but not chaotic, just awake. Inside the room the lights were dim, a desk lamp catched in one color. Across the bar someone adjusting the speakers, someone pacing slowly, thinking, waiting. Then the music began. I saw the electric piano chord, gentle, almost reflective. The kind of sound that immediately changes the temperature of a room. A synth pad follow, floating quietly behind it, expanding the space. Then a small plug melody, repeating like a signal, searching for attention. And the drums arrived, the kick clean, rhythmic, landing exactly where it needed to. The slang, balance, not aggressive, just confident. Hi-hats rolling, grip patterns, creating movement between the beats and the bass. Sliding, elastic, moving with intention, like city lights gliding across wet pavement. The room reacted not loudly, just naturally. Heads nodding, feet tapping, because the groove felt effortless. Then the voice appeared, smooth measure, somewhere between rock and melody. Words moving with the rhythm, not chasing it, just riding. The verse unfolded, stories about independence, about refusing to move with every trend, about learning that confidence often grows from quiet decisions. A line about walking past crowds without needing their approval. Someone listening would understand, because everyone has moments where they question if they are moving correctly. The music continued, the synth motif spinning softly like distant lights across the skyline. The pre-hook began to rise, background vocals appearing slowly, stack harmonies, building tension, like the city holding its breath in the hook garage. The voice singing clear, emotional, floating above the rhythm. The melody felt immediate, not complicated, just honest. The kind people remember after one listen, because emotion travels faster than technique. The room changed, someone leaned back, someone repeated the melody quietly without realizing, because hooks like that become memories before you expect. The beat returned stronger, more confident. The verse followed rhythmic, playful cadence, sliding between hi-hats like headlights passing across glass buildings. Lines about ambition, about creating your own signals instead of waiting for approval. Working around music, you begin realizing success rarely arrives loudly. Sometimes it begins like a quiet signal in the distance. The hook returns stronger, harmonies wider, the melody rising above the groove. Now the rhythm felt larger, but still controlled outside. The city continued, lights blowing, windows reflecting, endless movement inside. The music kept breathing, stylish, confident, alive. The final verse, short, reflective, like the final page of a conversation. And the hook returned once more, voices lifting, harmony shining across the rhythm, across the room, across the city. And when the song ended, the silence did not feel empty, because the energy was still there, floating quietly, like a velvet signal traveling through the night, waiting for someone
rest of the night.
Not chaotic,
Just electric, working around music long enough. You start noticing when the night feels like motion.
Street lights blinking above crosswalks, cars rolling through neon reflections, conversations spilling out of cafes, the kind of evening where the air itself feels rhythmic. Inside the studio, someone tapped the rhythm on the desk, someone laughed, someone said the night felt lucky. Then the beat appeared, a sharp note, bright, quick, like a camera flash across glass buildings. Then another, forming a pattern, spinning through the speakers. Then the drums arrive, kick bouncing across the groove, the snare snapping with bright confidence, hi-hats rolling fast, patterns like sparks moving through air. Then the bass elastic, sliding, dancing with the drums. The room reacted, heads nodding, shoulders moving because the groove felt alive. The verse began rhythmic,
Playful, words landing between the kicks, like footsteps across a busy street. The voice carried swagger, not arrogance, it's comfort. Like someone who already knows they belong. About ambition, about building something new. From late hours and loud dreams, someone smiled because the energy felt honest. The beat shifted, piano stabs appearing briefly, like lights flickering above the skyline. The pre-hook rose in pads lifting slowly, background vocals echoing softly like the city breathing in. Then the hook, a voice singing smooth, confident floating above the rhythm, harmony stacking underneath the melody. It easy.
the kind people remember before they realize a singing the room changed. Someone leaned back, someone raised a drink, because moments like that feel rare. The beat returned sharper, the verse followed, more attitude, cadence shifting through hi-hat rolls like headlights passing through dark streets. Lines about independence, about ignoring noise, about creating your own lane, working around music. You learn the style is about volume, it's about presence. The hook came back stronger, harmonies brighter, the melody lifting above the groove. Now the rhythm felt unstoppable, not aggressive, just magnetic. Outside the skyline shimmer, windows glowing across tall buildings. Inside the music kept moving.
Small, so confident, the final verse short, sharp like the last line of a good story. The hook returned one last time. Was tiny, harmony shining across the beat, and was another. Across the city, and when the song ended, someone laughed because the energy had already become memory. That's the thing about nights like this.
They don't disappear, they reflect like chrome
Across the skyline, long after the music stopped.
Yeah.
The city fell out of the night, not because the streets were crowded, because the air was full of motion. Working on music long enough, you start recognizing when the night has rhythm. Not every night moves the same, some are quiet, some are tripped, but this one had a pulse. Street lights blinking above the intersection, taxi engines humming at the corner, footsteps echoing through narrow alleys. The kind of atmosphere that feels alive even when nothing dramatic is happening. Inside the studio, the lights were low, someone leaning against the console, someone scrolling through old recordings, someone humming a melody. Fast finish, then the beat started, not soft, not aggressive, just confident and synth pattern, spinning slowly like reflections on glass buildings. And the kick drop, sharp, precise, the snare crack, bright, clean, hi-hats rolling, quick patterns between the spaces. And the bass sliding, elastic, moving with the drums like neon lights dancing on wet pavement. The room reacted, heads nodding, someone smiled because the groove felt effortless. The verse began smooth, right with that. Words weaving through the beat, not rushing, not forcing, just riding the movement. The delivery felt playful, like someone enjoying the moment more than trying to prove something. Lines about nights, about ambition, about turning late hours into music. Someone laughed at a clever line because confidence sounds different when it's natural. The groove shifted, synth chord lifting slowly, vocal textures floating behind it. A pre-hook building tension like the city taking a breath. Then the hook, a rider voice
bright, soulful, singing above the beat. Smooth harmony laid underneath the melody. Immediate, memorable, the kind people remember. But before the second listen, the room changed. Someone leaned back, someone started singing along. Because melodies like that belong to everyone. The beat continues sharper now. The verse return, more attitude, more rhythm. Cadence sliding between hi-hat rolls like headlights cutting through dark streets. Lines about success, about independence, about building your own sound. Working around music, you realize why collaborations matter. Different voices, different colors, same river, and the hook returns stronger. Lay up, far goes, lifting the melody above the bass, above the room. Now the groove felt unstoppable. Not loud, just magnetic. Outside, cars pass slowly. City lights glowing across the skyline. Inside, the music kept moving. Confident, light. The final verse sharper, shorter, like the last lines of a conversation you know will continue another night. The hook returned one last time. Voices rising, harmony shining. Across the beat, across the room, across the city. And when the song ended, someone smiled, because the energy had already become memory. That's the power of nights like this. They don't fade, they glow like diamonds under city lights. Long after the music stops.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are conversations that only happen near a window late at night, when the city is quiet enough for people to finally speak. Working around music long enough, you begin noticing how certain songs feel like those conversations. Honest, unrushed, soft. At night the window is slightly open. Cool air moving the curtain. Street lights glowing outside. The reflection of the room floating in the glass inside. The lights were dim. Someone leaning against the table. Someone sitting on the floor. Phones forgotten. Conversation slow. Then the music began. A road chord. One gentle like a memory. Opening quietly. Soft synth hands followed. Floating behind the sound. Then the guitar note clean. Delicate belly touching the air. Then the drums a slow kick, comfortable to slam. Like barely tapping the rhythm, hi-hats whispering between the spaces. Then the bass deep and smooth, sliding beneath the chords like calm water under city lights. The room listened because the sound felt personal. Not like a show, more like someone speaking their thoughts. Then the voice arrives, soft, melodic, somewhere between rap and singing. Each word placed carefully, like someone choosing how honest to be. The verse unfolded. Stories about nights, about realizing how people change without warning. About friendships that slowly fade without any argument, just distance. Someone nodded because that silence is familiar to everyone. The melody rolled, the hook soft, clear. The voice left an into falsetto, floating above the groove like light touching the window blast. The room changed. Someone smiled, someone hummed the melody without noticing, because melodies like that feel natural before you know why. The beat continued patient, unrushed like the night had decided to stay longer. The verse returned, more reflective lines about you. It's about realizing some moments are only meaningful after they pass. Working around music, you begin understanding why gentle hip-hop exists. It leaves space for quiet, for thoughts, for confessions. The hook came back, the falsetto warmer now, gliding through the room. Now the melody belonged to everyone. People humming,
dead secret outside a car passed slowly, its headlights moving across the wall inside. The music kept breathing warm, comfortable. The final verse almost whispered about how certain nights stay with you. Not because anything happened, but because for a moment you felt understood. The hook returned one last time. The falsetto floating across the quiet city, across the open window, across the night. And when the song ended, nobody rushed to speak, because the moment still existed inside the silence, like a confession, still resting in the window light. The last train always feels different. Not because the city changes, because the people inside it do. Working around music long enough, you start noticing certain songs belong to that moment, when the night is almost finished but not completely. That night the station was nearly empty. A few footsteps echoing across the platform, the hum of fluorescent lights, a distant train arriving. Somewhere underground the air felt still, phones glowing in quiet hands. People waited out speaking, then the music began. A rose chord, warm, soft like memory, opening slowly, the sound spread through the air. Soft scent paths floating behind it, and a guitar note clean, gentle, almost fragile, and the drums a slow kick, steady, relaxed, the snare light barely touching the rhythm. Hi-hats whispering between the spaces, then the bass, deep, smooth, sliding beneath the chords like rails stretching through the city. The train arrived, doors opening, people stepping in quiet, tired, buffer, then the voice arrived smooth, with loud and pram singing, half speaking, each word carried softly like someone talking to the quiet night. The verse unfolded, stories about nights, about walking home after conversations that lasted too long, about realizing some moments don't feel important until later. A line about watching the city through the train window lights passing like small memories. Someone listening would understand, because late trains make people reflect. The melody rose, the hook soft, clear, the voice lifting into falsetto, floating above the groove like city lights, moving across the glass inside the train. Someone leaned against the window, watching the tunnel lights flash one by one. The beat continues slow, comfortable like the rhythm of the rails. The verse return, more flake the lawns about youth, about friendship, more return lines about youth, about friendships, about realizing some people stay in your music even when they leave your life. Working around songs, you begin understanding why gentle hip-hop exists, not for stages, not for crowds, for headphones, for quiet rides, for people thinking the hook came back. The falsetto gliding across the carriage, across the night. Now the melody belonged to the moment. People humming softly without realizing outside. The city lights slid across the windows inside. The music kept breathing, warm, patient. The final verse almost whispered about how certain I stay with you, stay with you. Like the last train leaving the station, slowly, quietly, but carry everything you thought on the way home.
The hook returned one last time. The falsetto floating across the quiet city, across a moving train, across the night. And when the song ended, the train kept moving. Because some songs don't end with you, they travel with you all the way home. Rain started quietly, not a storm, just soft drops. Touching the pavement, working around music long enough, you begin noticing how certain nights create their own sound. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady like rain falling slowly under streetlights. That night felt exactly like that. The cafe was nearly empty, one table near the window, someone reading, someone watching the rain. Outside, cars move slowly, their tires cutting through wet roads. Inside, the room felt warm, conversations low, the sound of cups touching the table. Then the music began, it wrote its chord, more gentle like memory, returning slowly. Soft scents past, spread across the air. Then a guitar note, clean, simple, almost fragile. Then the drums, a slow kick, relax, comfortable. The snare, a light, barely touching the beat. Hi-hats whispering between the spaces. Then the bass, deep round, sliding beneath the chords like rain running along the pavement. The room listened because the sound felt honest, not like a show, more like a feeling. Then the voice arrived, smooth, light, and half singing, half speaking. Each word carried softly like someone talking to themselves. The verse unfolded, stories about nights, about walking alone through quiet streets, about realizing some memories arrive without invitation. A line about seeing a place that reminds you of someone you haven't spoken to in years. Someone listening would understand, because rain makes people remember. The melody rose, the hook soft, clear, voice lifting in the falsetto, floating above the groove like light, reflecting in wet streets. The room changed, someone hummed the melody without noticing, because hooks like that feel for the year before they become memories. The beat continues slow, patient like the rain outside. The verse return, more upside, lines about time, about learning. Some feelings never disappear, they only change shape, working around music. You realize why songs like this exist, not for crowds, not for noise, for quiet nights, for windows, for rain. The hook came back, the falsetto gliding across the room, across the rain. Now the melody belonged to the moment, people humming softly like sharing a memory. Outside the rain continued, streetlights glowing through the water. Inside the music kept breathing, warm, gentle. The final verse almost whispered about how certain nights stay with you like rain light reflected on quiet streets. The hook returned one last time, the falsetto floating across the quiet city, across the rain, across the night. And when the song ended, nobody rushed to leave, because the moment still existed inside the silence, like the soft frequency of still falling. There's a moment between night and morning when this sky turns blue, not the bright blue of day. A deeper shade, quiet, almost thoughtful. Working around music, long enough you begin to notice certain songs belong to that color. Not loud, not dramatic, just calm, like a conversation between two people driving slowly through empty streets that night. Felt like that, the city almost asleep. Streetlights glowing over silent roads, traffic signals changing colors for no one. Inside the car, the window slightly open, cool air moving softly, the radio playing low. Then the music began, a rose chord, warm, gentle like memory, slowly waking, soft synth pads floating behind it. And a guitar note, clean, simple, almost fragile. Then the drums, the slow kick steady, likes the snare, light barely touching the rhythm. Hi-hats whispering between the spaces, then the bass round deep, sliding beneath the chords like tires rolling softly across asphalt. The road stretched long, deep, sliding beneath the chords like tires rolling softly across asphalt. The road stretched long, quiet. City lights reflecting on the windshield. Then the voice will ride smooth, elaborate, half singing, half speaking. Each word placed carefully like thoughts that appear while driving alone. The verse unfolded, stories about nights, about friends who slowly drifted away, about realizing how quickly time moves, a line about missing someone. Even when you told yourself you didn't, someone listening would understand. Because late drives make people honest. The melody rose, the hook soft, clear, the voice lifting in a falsetto, floating above the groove like the sky changing colors just before sunrise. The road continues, streetlights passing, one by one the beat stays slow, comfortable like the rhythm of breathing. The verse return more receptive, lines about you, about mistakes, about learning that some nights change you quietly. Cutting around songs, you realize why music like this exists. Not for crowds, not for stages, for moments, for headphones, for drive through quiet cities. The hook came back, the falsetto gliding across the air. Now the melody belonged to the road outside. The horizon began turning blue inside. The music kept moving, warm side, patient. The final verse almost whispered about how some memories feel brighter in the early morning than they ever did at night. The hook returned one last time, the falsetto floating across the empty road, across the quiet city, across the blue hour. And when the song ended, the sky was already changing. Because some songs don't belong to night or day, they belong to that brief moment in between, where everything feels possible again. Some nights arrive quietly, no plans, no expectations, just a moment that slowly turns into memory. Working around music long enough, you start noticing how certain sounds belong to those nights. Not loud songs, not chaotic rhythms, something soft, something that feels like breathing. That evening started like any other, a message from a friend, a quiet cafe, a window seat outside. The city moves slowly, street lights glowing over empty sidewalks, cars passing with soft engine sounds inside. The room felt warm, conversations low, coffee cooling on the table. Then the music began, a rose chord gentle like sunlight, remembered after sunset. The sound spread across the air, soft scent pass, following slowly. Then the guitar note plain simple, almost fragile. Then the drums, a slow can relaxed, comfortable. The snare light barely touching the rhythm. Hi-hats whispering between the spaces, and the bass beat round, sliding beneath the pours like calm water under city lights. The room listened because the sound felt real, not like a performance, more like someone thinking out loud. Then the voice arrives, melodic somewhere between rap and singing, each word placed carefully like someone writing a diary. The verse unfolds its stories about youth, about walking through quiet streets, about nights where nothing happened but everything felt meaningful. Someone nodded because those feelings are universal. The melody rose, the hook soft, clear, the voice limping into falsetto, floating above the groove like neon light touching rain. The room changed, someone hummed the melody without noticing, because hooks like that feel familiar before you understand why. The beat continues slow, patient like the night had decided to stay a little longer. The burst returned, more reflective lines about time, about learning that growing older is quieter than we expected. Working around songs, you realize why gentle hip-hop exists. To create space for thoughts, for memories, for moments. The hook came back, the falsetto warmer now, gliding through the air. Now the melody belonged to the room, people humming softly like sharing a secret outside. A taxi light moved slowly down the street inside. The music kept breathing warm, comfortable. The final verse almost whispered about the strange way certain nights stay with you without warning, like soft neon in the distance. Buck returned one last time, the falsetto floating across the quiet city, across the moment. When the song ended, nobody rushed to leave, because the feeling still existed inside the silence, like a memory glowing softly in the dark. There are nights that feel like photographs, not the perfect ones, the slightly blurred ones, the ones taken without planning. Working around music long enough, you realize some songs feel exactly like those photos. Soft, honest, quiet, that night was one of them. The city had already slowed, traffic lights changing for empty roads, street signs glowing softly outside. A breeze moved through the trees inside. The room felt calm, someone leaning against the couch, someone watching the street, someone thinking about nothing. Then the music began, the roads chord, warm like sunlight. Remembered after sunset, the sound spread slowly across the room, and saucing pads floating behind it. Then a guitar note, clean, delicate, almost fragile. Then the drums, a slow kick, relaxed, comfortable. The snare light barely touching the beat. Hi-hats whispering between the spaces. Then the bass, round, deep, sliding beneath the chords like calm water under moonlight. The room listened because the sound felt personal, not like a show, more like a moment someone decided to keep. Then the voice arrived, smooth, lighted, half singing, half speaking, each word placed careful like someone remembering while they speak. The verse unfolded, stories about you, about nights driving nowhere, about conversations that lasted longer than planned. A line about missing someone without realizing when it started. Someone nodded because those thoughts belong to everyone. The melody rose, the hook soft, gentle, the voice lifting in a falsetto, floating above the groove like light across a photograph. The room changed, someone smiled, someone hummed the melody, because hooks like that feel familiar even the first time you hear them. The beat continued slow, patient like the night was stretching just a little longer. The verse returned, more reflected, lines about time, about realizing certain memories become clearer after they end. Working around music, you understand why songs like this exist. They aren't built for crowds, they're built for moments, for quiet
rooms for late nights for people thinking. The hook came back, the falsetto gliding across the air. Now the melody belonged to the room, people humming softly like sharing a memory outside. A taxi light passed slow across the street inside. The music kept breathing, warm, gentle, comfortable. The final verse almost whispered like the last words of a conversation about how certain nights stay with you like photographs, fading slowly but never disappearing. The hook returned one last time, the falsetto floating across the quiet city, across the moment. And when the song ended, nobody rushed to move, because the feeling still existed inside the silence, like a midnight Polaroid. Waiting to be looked at again.
Some nights feel like letters, not messages you send immediately, but words you write slowly, thinking, rewriting, working around music long enough you begin noticing how certain songs feel exactly like that. A quiet letter written to someone who might never read it. That night the air felt soft, not cold, not warm, just calm. The city moving quietly outside the window, street lights glowing, cars passing slowly, the headlights stretching across the walls. Inside the room felt still, a few people talking, someone scrolling through photos, someone staring out the window thinking. And the music began, a rose chord, warm, gentle, like a memory opening slowly. The sound spread across the room, soft synth pads floating behind it. Then a guitar note clean, almost fragile, and the drums a slow kick or lags, comfortable. The snare light barely touching the rhythm, hi-hats whispering between the spaces. Then the bass deep, smooth, sliding beneath the chords like water under moonlight. The room listened, because the sound felt honest, not loud, not dramatic, just real. Then the voice arrived, soft, melodic, somewhere between rap and singing. Each word placed carefully, like lines written slowly in a notebook. The verse unfolded, stories about nights, about realizing how much time has passed, about a strange way certain people still appear in your thoughts. Even years later, someone nodded, because those thoughts belong to everyone. At some point the melody rose, the hook gentle, clear, the voice lifting in a falsetto, floating above the groove like light touching water. The room felt warmer, someone hummed the melody without realizing, because melodies like that feel familiar before you know why. The beat continued, patient, unrushed, like the night had decided to stay a little longer. The verse returned, more afraid than lines about youth, about mistakes, about learning that growing up is quieter than we imagine. Working around songs, you start understanding why gentle hip-hop exists. Give space for thoughts, for silence, for honesty. The hook came back, the falsetto gliding across the room, across the quiet. Now the melody belonged to everyone, people humming softly, like sharing a memory outside. The city lights reflected across empty streets inside. The music kept breathing, slow, warm, comfortable. The final verse almost whispered like the last lines of a letter, about how certain nights stay with you long after you forget where you were. The hook returned one last time, the falsetto floating across the quiet city, across the moment. And when the song ended, nobody rushed to speak, because the feeling was still there, like a letter bent open on the table, waiting to be read again.
The city speaks differently after midnight, not with noise, but with small sounds. A bus passing in the distance, a street light humming, footsteps echoing on quiet pavement. Working around music long enough, you start noticing these hours belong to softer songs, not the kind that shake the room, the kind that sit beside you like a quiet friend. That night the air felt calm, the window open, a faint breeze moving the curtain, phone silent, conversation slow. Outside the street was nearly empty, neon signs glowing softly. Then the music began, a rose chord, warm like memory, spreading slowly through the room. Soft scent paths followed, floating gently behind it. Then a guitar note, clean, simple, almost shy. Then the drums, a slow kick, steady, comfortable. The snare light barely touching the rhythm. Hi-hats whispering between the spaces. Then the bass deep brown, sliding beneath the chords like calm water under moonlight. The room listened because the sound felt honest, not trying to impress, just exist. And then the voice arrived, smooth, loud and half singing, half speaking. Each word landed with care, like someone choosing the exact moment. To be honest, the verse unfolded, stories about nights, about how people change without noticing, about the strange way memories return when the world finally quiets down. Someone nodded because the lines felt familiar, not dramatic, just true. The melody rose, the hook soft, gentle, the voice lifting in the falsetto, floating above the groove like moonlight touching water. The room changed, someone leaned back in the chair, someone closed their eyes listening, because melodies like that feel like they belong to the moment. The beat continued, patient, unrushed, like the night was stretching longer. The verse returned, this time more fret-lit, lines about youth, about friendships that slowly faded, about realizing some people remain inside your music even when they leave your life. Working around songs, you begin understanding why gentle hip-hop matters. It allows silence, it leaves space for thoughts. The hook came back, the falsetto warm, and now floating across the room, across the quiet air. People humming softly like sharing a secret. Outside a taxi light moved slowly down the street. Inside the music kept breathing, slow, comfortable. The final verse almost whispered about the strange beauty of nights when nothing exciting happens, but everything feels meaningful. The hook returned one last time, the falsetto gliding across the room, across the window, across the silent city. And when the song ended, nobody spoke immediately, because the moment still lived inside the quiet. That's the power of songs like this. They don't demand attention, they share a feeling, like a conversation under moonlight that stays long after the music fades. Some nights don't end when the music stops. They stay inside the air, like the taste of something sweet you can't quite forget. That night it was like that. The city had already passed midnight. Most restaurants closed, the traffic thinner, street lights stretching across quiet sidewalks. Working around music long enough, you learn that late hours have their own sound. Not loud beats, not crowded voices, but softer rhythms, the kind that feel like someone speaking directly to you. The room was half empty, a few friends sitting close, talking slowly, phones glowing on the table. Outside a bus passed its headlights, painting lines across the wall. Then the music began, a rose chord warm like sunlight. Remember from earlier, the sound expanded, soft synth pads floating behind it, gentle guitar notes touching the air. Then the drums, a slow kick, comfortable. The snare, light, almost shy, hi-hats whispering between spaces. And the bass, round, deep, sliding beneath the chords like calm water under a bridge. The room listened because the sound felt personal, not like a show, more like a thought. Someone finally decided to say out loud, then the voice arrived, smooth, low, a melody woven inside the rhythm, not forcing notes, just letting them appear between breaths. The verse unfolded, it's about nights, about the strange way memories arrive when you least expect. A line about driving through empty streets, another about realizing someone you miss is still part of your music even when they're not there. People nodding, not dramatically, just understanding deep, cause late nights make everyone honest. And the melody rose, the hook soft, clear, floating above the groove, the voice lifting into falsetto. Not loudly, just enough to turn the air warmer. Someone hummed the melody without thinking, because it felt like something already known. Continued, patient, calm like the night had slowed to listen. The verse returned, this time more with threaded lines about youth, about mistakes, about learning that time moves quietly. While you're busy living, working around music, you realize why songs like this matter. They don't chase the crowd, they find the listener. The hook came back, the falsetto floating across the room, across the moment. Now everyone felt the groove, not dancing, just breathing with it. Outside a taxi stop, a couple walked past the window, laughing softly inside. The music kept moving like a conversation that didn't need to end. The final verse almost whispered about the strange way certain nights stay with you long after you forget where you were. The hook returned one last time, the falsetto gliding across the quiet room, across the late city, across memory. And when the song faded, nobody rushed to speak, because the moment still existed inside the silence. Watch what gentle hip-hop does, it doesn't shout, it stays like a flavor left behind. Left the night, left of the night, after the night finally ends.
There is a specific hour, when the city changes. Not evening, not midnight, something later when the noise starts fading, but the lights still glow. Working around music long enough, you begin noticing how certain sounds belong to this hour. Not loud songs, not aggressive beats, but something softer, something that feels like conversation instead of performance. That night felt exactly like that. The room was quiet, not empty, just calm. A few people talking, someone scrolling through their phone, someone leaning against the window, watching the street outside. Cars move slowly, street lights painted long reflections across wet pavement. Then the music began, a warm chord, soft like someone opening a door. Carefully the rose keys spread across the air, gentle, almost fragile. Then the drums, a slow kick, relaxed. The snare light barely touching the rhythm. Hi-hats whispering between the spaces, and the bass warm, smooth, sliding beneath the chords like quiet waves under moonlight. The room listened because the sound felt personal, not like a show, more like someone telling a story. Then the voice arrived, soft and rotted, not fully singing, not fully rapping, somewhere between each word, carry emotion, but never forced, like someone speaking honestly without trying to impress. People lean closer, not because the music amended it, because it invited them. The verse unfolded, stories about nights, about distance, about the strange feeling of being surrounded by people, but still thinking about someone else. The kind of honesty that late nights create. Then the melody rose slowly, a hook, smooth, floating above the beat. The voice lifting into falsetto, warm, emotional. The room changed, someone smiled, someone hummed the melody, because hooks like that feel familiar. Even the first time you hear them, the beat continues, soft, patient, like it had all the time in the world. Yeah. The
verse return more turgid. Lines about youth, about mistakes, about learning how people change without realizing how nights like this become memories before they even end. Working around music, you begin understanding why songs like this matter. They don't explode, they stay quiet. Honest human, the hook came back stronger. The falsetto gliding above the groove. Now the melody belonged to the room. People humming softly like a shared secret outside. The city remained awake. Neon lights glowing, windows reflecting the street inside. The music kept moving slow, comfortable, warm. The final verse even softer, like someone speaking to themselves, realizing some nights don't need excitement, they need reflection. The hook returned one last time. The falsetto floating across the room, across the night, across the quiet city. And when the song ended, nobody spoke immediately, because the moment still existed inside the silence. That's the power of gentle hip-hop. It doesn't shout, it lingers like a voice still echoing inside your thoughts. Long after the music stops. Long after the music stops. The music stops. The music stops.